So from Paul Tassi here, Destiny 2's The Final Shape and the Avengers in-game problem. Interesting title. There have been a million rumors about all aspects of the MCU as of late, with one recent one being reports about the Avengers reassembling, meant to include the likes of Sam Wilson, Captain America, Hulk, She-Hulk, Shang-Chi, and even Moon Knight. The idea is pervasive that despite some good moments, things have never been quite the same with the MCU since Avengers Endgame wrapped up essentially a decade-long story. The Marvel's Eternals, Black Widow, Quantumania, and Shang-Chi all rank in the bottom of Marvel's box office totals compared to past installments. There are a few exceptions. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 did well. Wakanda Forever, Multiverse of Madness, a huge standout, Spider-Man No Way Home. But between a lot of underperforming entries and the huge shift to often not widely watched Disney Plus series, it's been a different era entirely. Okay, so I already know where Paul's going with this conversation. He's essentially saying that Avengers Infinity War Endgame was such a banger that why would anyone watch any of the other ones or be interested in the MCU after such a conclusion? And he's probably going to draw comparisons to Destiny 2 and the Light and Darkness saga coming to an end. Can I also just say this though too? Dude, I just got burnt out on all the superhero movies. Think about where we started years ago, like over a decade ago. And then think about where we are now and how much it's blown up. It just became fatiguing for me. Everywhere I looked, it was another superhero movie. And look, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of a lot of them, or at least the ones I know, and even the ones I didn't know. It was all over the place, dude. I think to me, it was an oversaturation. But let's continue. Destiny 2, I imagine you know where I'm going with this. Destiny 2 is about to wrap up its 10-year Light and Darkness saga in the Final Shape, which will represent a final showdown between the Witness and the Traveler, with player guardians making the difference in the fights. We know that immediately after that finale, Bungie will launch into Destiny's first episode of 2024, which is what the series is moving to. These are 3 disconnected stories that will take place in the aftermath of the Final Shape. But after that, there is no clear picture of where Destiny goes from here, even if we have been promised it is continuing on in some form. There's a lot of speculation about what episodes mean. Is it Bungie pulling back the amount of content we get over a year? Is it Bungie's now free to go approach those other threads without having to stay so interwoven into the main plot points? I will say there's a lot of setup already from what we've experienced this past year that has episode setup. Xivu Wrath is arguably the biggest one. The other thing is too, although I do agree with this one statement, we're going to continue reading, but it also just comes down to how the Final Shape ends. You know, we made a comment the other day, like, say we beat the Witness in the raid, and the Witness is terribly wounded, and he's running away from us, or I don't know, gliding away from us, and out of nowhere, the 9 show up. You know, the ones who literally have done nothing and just sat on the sidelines pretty much this entire time, and they descend upon the Witness in his weakened state. And they just straight up go attack on Titan, start just eating him, like literally just consuming him, killing him, brutally mutilating him. And then there's nothing left of the Witness. And then they look upon us and say pretty much thanks, like, or whatever, you know, you solved this problem for us. That would be such a great way to kick things off for the episodes to come. It's like, what just happened? You know what I mean? Sounds like you played early. No, I have not. I have not played early. I'm just saying in terms of just setting things up. Cross mentions the 9 just as much as he mentions RuneScape. Look, the 9 are intriguing, are they not? The most intriguing thing that we know hardly nothing about. You know what I'm saying? Now, the issue here is that for many players, this may feel like a hard Avengers Assemble ending for the series, something they may return to in order to see the end of, but after that, they drift away. The problem? Bungie is not Marvel, and they badly need player retention to consistently generate live revenue and build bridges to their future projects like Marathon. The issue is simply the nature of the release itself. The Final Shape can be great, and I worry they may not be able to avoid this problem anyway. Bungie has been making great content for most of the past year, in particular, building incredible new activities, story beats, and wild new things like an entirely new enemy race, and element-bending subclass just to give people more reason to buy the Final Shape. It's really excellent. Dude, I gotta say this though. This narrative right here was so different like 6 months ago. 6 months ago was like, oh my God, it's over. People getting laid off. Final Shape's gonna be ass. But listen, and look, I was one of those that was very skeptical of the Final Shape. And I'm still somewhat, I have a healthy level of skepticism, okay? And I think we all should. But dude, I don't know when it started. I think it actually started this year with Guardian games. Guardian games came back to us and it was popping. We had the skimmers, you know, there was like a reason to play. It was actually a fun year of Guardian games. And then we rolled into the light, and we've got the exotic missions back. We've got Pantheon now. By the way, all of this is free. Then we had the reveal for Final Shape, showing things that I never expected us to see. Because normally in the Vidoc, Bungie shows everything. This year, they rolled out new alien race, new subclass, being a subclass that we never thought would be possible, mixing and matching different elements of all of our different subclass types. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Part of me wonders what episodes are going to bring. Could this be the start of something great? Or is this just Bungie taking us fishing and giving us all these amazing powers and amazing content before they say, hey, peace, guys. We'll see you in D3 6 years from now. We'll keep episodes on just to keep the lights on. You know what I mean? But Bungie has to avoid the narrative that this is a true finale. Granted, they couldn't extend the Light and Darkness storyline forever, but I'm not sure if moving to disconnected episodes rather than starting a firm new storyline is the play. It's a challenge, both narratively and for a player count and revenue perspective, when we know Bungie has found themselves in hot water in that department this past year, despite overwhelmingly good content once Lightfall ended anyway. We'll know more about the future of the series right after the Final Shape, I imagine, but it's going to be a tough hill to climb. That's for sure. However, Marvel has the Fantastic Four and X-Men coming, and I wonder what might be Destiny's equivalent of that. Well, again, I do understand the comparison. I just think that superhero movies completely oversaturated. Guys, I know I may be in the minority on this, but I would play an episode of just following Jermaine, the Drifter, and literally just running through his past, his present, what he's trying to do. Like, if there was an episode completely devoted to just him, and we're just wandering the galaxies with just him and discovering like just crazy shit alongside him, I would be like Mandalorian style. I would be so down with that. Granted, that may just be a minority take, and I think most people probably get pulled in for the big narrative of, you know, the light and the darkness, things that are easy to grab a hold of rather than specific characters. But I would be all about an episode about specific characters. All the Drifter seasons have been stinkers, though. That's because Bungie tried to make it's Gambits. That's why Drifter seasons were stinky, guys. Bungie cannot, every time they introduced something with Drifter, it was Gambit related, and that's why it wasn't that great. Now, he's played roles in other seasons that were good. This is not me asking for an episode for a Gambit overhaul. I'm talking like, we go with Drifter. We go Mandalorian style across the universe, if that's even possible, with the Drifter. And we just kind of go see the inner dealings of what the Drifter does day to day or year to year. You know what I mean? Because you know he does some sketchy shit. The other side of things that Bungie could do. What if Bungie did we do this, Light and Darkness saga comes to an end. They still have one other card they can play. They could always do Destiny Civil War. Could always go that route. You could. Hold up. There's something that happens where everyone starts to take sides. It could start with Eris and Ikora having a major disagreement about how to approach something. Maybe they find some crazy power and there's a difference in approach, and suddenly everyone starts taking sides with one another. And then, uncharacteristically so, Eris decides to be like, we're taking this with us. This is ours. We're the ones that discovered it. I'll be the one to do the research. And Ikora grabs her hand and it's like, no, that's not about to happen. And suddenly, every one of them start charging up. Can you imagine Saint 14 coming in, acting like a badass, and suddenly Shax steps in front of him and says, listen, man, let's not go there. Let's not go there right now. This is just Avengers Civil War. It is, but it would be dope. Y'all don't like this shit? I think it would be great. By the way, Avengers Civil War was the best one. I fucking loved it. The question is how do you end such a thing? Someone's gonna have to die. Or someone's would have to die. You know what I mean? But this would be a perfect opportunity for Osiris to sacrifice himself to keep the fight from progressing any further. Everybody be like, oh no, look what happens when we let our egos get in the way. Osiris. All right, fine then. Fuck you guys. We'll just keep fighting the mythical darkness and stay completely united and have no internal woes whatsoever, because that's super realistic. Yeah, immortal beings and don't have any issues with each other. Huh? You telling me Zavala doesn't talk a little bit of shit about Saladin from time to time? Get the fuck out of here. It's all in the presentation. You know, it could be as crazy as something like Drifter goes rogue. And then imagine if Drifter goes rogue and we as a Guardian have to make a decision. Do we stay with the Vanguard or do we go with Drifter? And like, once we make the decision, that's it. It locks our character in. And we have two completely diverging storylines. But hold up. What if after we kill the witness, some other species shows up? You gotta keep in mind, we still have the Vex out there. We still have the Vex. And from what, I think we were watching a lore video from Bife. I think he said the Vex haven't even sent their best fighters to take us on. We've essentially just been fighting their reconnaissance forces. Their recon forces is what we've been fighting for years now. So imagine if Vex actually gets serious here. Isn't one of the main reasons why the Vex have been sitting on the sideline is because they don't have a way to stop the witness? And isn't the Vex literally just waiting for us to deal with this? They can't simulate paracausality. Right, but for the Vex, the witness is a bigger threat than we are, I would assume. There's just so many. This is where lore gets crazy. We still don't even have a confirmation on who is the gardener, who is the winnower. We think we know, but we don't have a confirmation, a true confirmation. I mean, right after we deal with the witness, something can literally step out and say, hey, I'm the winnower, bitches. They're both the 9. We don't even really know what the 9 are. The only thing I know about the 9 is they've been observing us. They sent an emissary. We had Trials of the 9, a couple seasons that overlapped. And the other big reveal is the 9 oversaw the eradication of Hamkar dragons. Now that's fucked. I mean, they literally oversaw that shit. The gardener is clearly the traveler. We really don't. We think we know. We don't really know. If you're saying that the traveler is the gardener, is the veil the winnower? David, pull up that lore real quick. Okay, you guys are saying that the traveler is in fact the gardener. Drop me a link right now that brings me to that shit.
Before you can confront the witness, you must understand it. The witness's first victims were once like you, struggling for survival, bolstered by hope, until their hopes became reality. They called it the gardener, their deity of life.
And guess what? If you actually watch Bife's lore videos, you would know that this is still not a confirmation that the traveler is the gardener because of the perspective of who is telling the story to us. So just go ahead and just take everything as law. Take everything as law. You want to just believe everything you just read and hear? Who's telling it? Who's fucking telling you? Gonna come at me about life. Bullshit.
It ushered them into a golden age. For eons, they prospered. But their newfound god never spoke to them. It lavished them with gifts, but not with guidance. And though they lived in paradise, they came to crave a greater purpose. They desired meaning, structure, a winnower, to shape the garden. Their scholars discovered that the gardener shared a connection with another entity among the stars. They called it the Veil, and when they found it, they arrived to claim it. They already knew much about the light, how it could bend the laws of the universe and create life. But they came to realize that it could bring ruin just as easily. The cosmic events it set in motion could wipe out entire civilizations in a heartbeat, without reason. And so they saw the light, not as a source of prosperity, but of unfettered chaos. By studying the Veil, they came to know the darkness. A power that was shaped by thought and...
So, if you watch, there's an entire great video by Bife that goes to the 3 factions in that previous civilization and which one won out to essentially bring us to what we see as the witness. But understand, these are tools, okay? Both the traveler and the veil. But as far as like what we've been questioning, who is the singular gardener? Who is the singular winnower? As far as I know, that's not confirmed.
Consciousness. And in the darkness, they found the means to carve away the chaos of existence, to calcify it into a final shape. eternal, and perfected. They brought the veil back to the Gardener in an attempt to strengthen their connection. There, they could reshape reality itself. The Gardener would not allow it, and so it fled their world. But they would not be deterred. Having witnessed the truth in the darkness, they used its binding power to merge themselves into the salvation they craved. Thus began the Witness's pursuit, its campaign to impose meaning on a meaningless universe. One that is nearly at its end.
Okay, so are you telling me there's no singular witness? I mean, there's no singular winner? Are you telling me Morgan Freeman is not going to show up and say he's the Gardener? There'll never be a singular person that will embody that title? It's two guys playing a game in our universe, and the piece of the Traveler and the Veil. That's my assumption, that merely the Veil and the Traveler are just tools. That's why to say that the Traveler is the Gardener to a species that uses it for prosperity and for the well-being of their civilization. But what about for the species that uses it for just warring, for destroying? That's not gardening. Who is the puppet master? That's what I'm getting at. To me, the Gardener and the Winnower, I envision it's literally two opposing sides playing a game of universe chess with each other. The Veil and the Traveler are just pieces. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we in the future discover 9 more of these motherfucking Travelers and 8 or 9 more of the Veil. You know, because it takes me back to Halo. Remember Halo? Oh my God, Halo was crazy, right? Oh shit, there's a Halo out there. It can nuke everything, it can take everything out. It can destroy the entire universe. Who put this in place? We start discovering it. And then boom, what happened in Halo 3? More Halo rings. But that was like the big fucking holy shit. Spoiler? Guys, it's been 15 years. Come on. I don't know if that's going to make sense. That's a plot line that Bungie would have already utilized at some point. To hit us with, hey, there's multiple Travelers and multiple Veils. I'm not sure if that would hit us as hard. You know what I'm saying? The Halo rings was crazy though. Maybe they actually told us what the Veil is to be more impactful. Guys, what they said in this video, and if you were to take what Asa said, they called it the Veil.
They called it the Veil. And when they found it, they arrived to claim it.
The Veil is another tool, another means to control. It's the means to control the Traveler. That's really what the Veil is. And it bestows the powers to maintain control over what they say the Traveler is, that chaotic power. Who made them though? See, to me, the person who made them or persons who made them would be the actual Winnower and the Gardener. But fine. Let's just, these entities are it. But no, that's what the Veil is. And then what happened is they take the Veil and they try to go over here and they try to slap it on the Traveler. The Traveler freaked out and was like, bro, I got commitment issues. Don't do that to me. And he bounced. And then everyone was super pissed off because the Witness's civilization was like, no, you don't break up with me. I break up with you. Sacrifices everybody to make themselves into one super being. And now they're that crazy X on a revenge tour across the universe that's coming to get the last word in, that being the final shape. And that's the story. That really is the story. You chop it up however way you like it. This is based again on Asa. Do we trust everything she has to say? I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't trust that fucking well. You know, it just seems awfully convenient. President, Tyne, befriend Sloan. We're playing Save Shamu Day. Look. I don't fucking trust it one bit. We're just supposed to just take a word for it. Who sent her? The 9? The Lord shows that the Witness is not a perfect being and has many flaws. Oh yeah, I mean that's how. What's gonna happen is as we're fighting him, he's gonna become more mentally unstable. He's probably going to become more and more dangerous, but he's going to become more mentally unstable. Because understand, there was a part of their species that was not on board with the sacrifice and consolidation of all of them. Budget Thanos? No, Thanos was different. One of my favorite things about Thanos in the in game was I love that when he realized like, oh, well, he looks around, he's like, you know, obviously the odds are stacked against me and these motherfuckers have figured out a way to counter my every move. But I love that Thanos still picked up his blade and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fuck these guys up. He was like, there's no I can't go and do anything else. I'm gonna fuck them up. And he almost did. And well, he actually did do it, you know, so, but Thanos is probably one of my favorite antagonists ever.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.